And I believe we're live, and thank you for joining us. This is our normal live stream, and I appreciate all the time people have taken to, spend the days with me on these nights. Spend these days with Dad. Wow, that made no sense. I appreciate the time to spend the days with me on these nights. Spend these days with Dad. Wow, that made no sense. Technical. I appreciate. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I usually turn the sound off before we start. I forgot. Hey, we can cut all this stuff out on the real videos. It's okay. We're human, We're a small human campaign, and that's what we do. Speaking of being a small human campaign, I wanted to talk to you guys about volunteering. If you would like to help out, I know money's tight and not many people have much to donate, and that's perfectly acceptable. I understand where that's coming from. I'm in the same boat. But we are well prepared to run a shoestring campaign. But what we do require is help. And many hands make light work. If all you can do is share videos and share tweets and Instagram posts, which we're starting to ramp up and starting to get better at, then please do just share them, and that's enough to help. That actually helps far more than you could imagine. Sharing on Facebook and all these and YouTube videos, these will help get the campaign noticed. But the other thing you can do is report information to the campaign. Tell us what hashtags you would like us to see. Tell us what hashtags are being used. Tell us stories that are not being told. So give them to us so we can relate them here. Another thing you can do is send us information on groups we can contact, or if you happen to know of a group, say, hey, maybe you guys want to contact this guy and have a conversation. There's ways you can help without having to get deep down into a volunteering on a campaign. You can help on the periphery without having to, what's the word I'm looking for? Without having to dedicate a lot of time. You can just, do it as you have time, as you come across the day. You don't have to dedicate hours upon hours. That's my job. That's my campaign manager's job. For you guys, for the general public, for the people at large, if you have 10 minutes a week to retweet tweets or to reshare Facebooks, then that's what we'll take. And we'll take it happily. If what you can do is send us information, you say, hey, I saw this in your district and I thought you might want to know. Hey, this group has this issue that they're not being heard about. Can you talk to them? Yeah. I love talking to groups with small issues that haven't been heard, because that's what we're doing here. We're trying to talk to people and have voices and get those people who aren't heard re-engaged. Because that's what life is about. Engaging in our communities. And moving forward, that re-engaging of our full communities is going to be more important than ever. And speaking about engaging communities more important than ever, our governor released, a budget projection that we are going to be about $54 billion in the hole this year on the budget. I'm not going to question the numbers because, frankly, I don't know. My guess is as good as guess as any. There's no reason to actually try to fudge that number because it's likely going to be wrong no matter what it is. So it's a best honest guess, sure, but it does lead us to a problem. We are going to have to make tough choices going into the future, right? We're going to have to refocus our priorities. We're going to have to figure out a way to do more with less. And there's just no way around it anymore. This train has been coming for a long time. We have been able to get away with it because the tech industry and our agriculture industry have been so productive that they've been able to kind of cover over these economics, the underlying economic troubles of the state. But there's no more covering over these troubles. We can no longer tax our way out of these problems. We are taxed to the hilt. And we've got millions unemployed. And those jobs aren't coming back anytime soon. And so right now, younger workers are at a premium because businesses are willing to take a younger person, has a lower risk of having a severe reaction to coronavirus. So if you were a business, are you going to choose a 25-year-old worker or a 50-year-old worker for a delivery driver or for a shelf stocking job? You're going to take the 25-year-old because it's a less long-term risk. It's not even an economic choice of the 50-year-old wants more money or would expect more money. It's a simple of they're less likely to get severely sick, and so our long-term costs are going to be less. And our moral costs are going to be less. You don't have to worry so much about, is your elderly employee going to get sick? So you're going to choose the person most likely to get sick. And what effect is that going to have long-term? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. So we're going to have to be careful about where we choose to spend our money. We're going to have to rethink, reimagine how we deliver things like education. And not maybe a massive rethinking, but also maybe, a structural rethinking. Why do we have, the Federal Department of Education, the State Department of Education, the County Department of Education, and then we have individual school districts, and then we have individual schools. Why do we have so many layers? We could essentially get rid of the school district levels. We could have the county administrators take over the HR, most of the HR functions. We could get the unions to pick up the roles that unions should be playing in training and making sure teachers get placed in the right spot and all these ongoing issues. There's ways to get around this. If you look at the Sacramento City School District, it has been poorly run since I was a child going there. And it is now so top heavy, administrative heavy, no one denies it that it's administrative heavy. The state is actually thinking about taking over our school district because it's so poorly run. But it's poorly run for a reason. It has so many administrators for a reason. That's because they have been saddled with strings. From the feds to the state, all social engineering goals, as laudable as they may be, they come with costs. And that cost is money that actually educates the individual child. And maybe this is a chance to reimagine how we deliver education to the individual child. There are children who need what we now call traditional education. I have no desire to get in their way. But there are children for whom the current traditional education system doesn't work. And we need to reimagine it for them. We need to reimagine how the education system works for families who work off schedule. The current system doesn't work for someone who works nights, for families who work nights. If you're a family who owns a cleaning business and you're out over the course of the night cleaning offices, what do you do with your kids during the day? This is a common problem. The problem I experienced when I was a janitor, not necessarily myself, but my contemporaries, a lot of them had this issue. I was lucky. We always arranged our life so we could have someone at home with the children. But other people don't have that luxury. And we can't create systems that kind of force life to be harder. And going forward, one of the ways out of this is going to be, we're not going to have money to give to these local communities. They're just not going to be there. And so what we're going to have to do is get out of their way and protect them from bad outside influences. Protect them from big money influences from outside the areas with different agendas than the people in the neighborhoods. We can do both. We can take those reins off of our neighborhoods, let them grow, let them reinvest into themselves, let them get in money that's invested from outside, but keep the ownership inside. It is possible. It's been done in the past. It can be done in the future. We just have to focus on it. And we have to get the government out of the way. We have to get the government back into its watchdog role and out of the role of social engineering, because we simply don't have the money. But we do have the money to find our way through this. we're going to have to find the money to deal with the mental health issues that are going to arise from this, the long-term cultural PTSD that's going to arise from this, and putting the state back together. And these solutions are not going to come from me. They're not going to come from people like me. They're going to come from people like you. It's going to be the people of California that find the path forward. It's going to be the job of people like me to get the government out of your way and to protect you from those who will take advantage of the situation. The job of the government is to protect the individual from predators and fraudsters, and to make sure that the business of government is run effectively and as efficiently as possible. Now look, it is never possible for the government to be as efficient as a well-run business, and thank God for that. We want that extra layer of complexity. We want it to be a little slow, but it cannot be this bloated. We're just going to have to figure out how to redo things. And so, with all that said, I do want to try to finish this on a bit of a higher note than that. Because I am, at the end of the day, an optimist. I believe the people of California will get through this, with or in spite of their government. But things are going to have to change. The way the government business has been being done cannot be the way it's done in the future. Wow, I butchered that. So, as we move forward, let's remember that it is you, me, your neighbors, your family, your loved ones that are going to pull us through. It's not the governor. It's not your local health officials. It's not talking heads on TV. It's your friends and families and neighbors. Because community and family is what's really important. Why don't we want to get sick? Why is everybody afraid of getting sick? Because we don't want to miss our family. We don't want our loved ones. We're all selfish. It's okay. It's a human trait. I don't want to get sick. I don't want my mother to get sick. You know, we, like many other people, will be doing a drive-by Mother's Day celebration. You know, I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one, because, you know, your parents can be elderly or they can have health issues, and, you know, you don't want to take a risk. And that's fine. But there are other risks that we also have to consider in these issues of staying home, and we can't just ignore them. And how did I get to be all downer? Well, let's not end with Debbie Downer. So remember that we love each other, we love our neighbors, we love our family, we love our friends, and we will all get through this. Because of that, and as Californians, we are very good at one thing: innovating our way through problems, and we will innovate our way through this one. I'm going to get out of here before I get all more morose. This is just getting to, I'm going to get it back and getting, and it's, you know, and it's a very human thing. One of the things I've always said is I'm going to be out here and I'll have honest human conversations with you. And part of that is, you know, we're all struggling with this. We're all trying to struggle how to stay upbeat during a time where the stress is overwhelming. And, you know, you get to watch me struggle with it, but I'm just like you. But we'll get through this. We'll get through this together because we love everybody. Good night. Take care.